welcome to 3-Minute Warning.
I'm AJ Lawrence, and we're here to talk about the hottest topics trending, 5 of them in fact, and we're going to talk about them in 3 minutes or less.
And as always, I'm David Griffin here. We're joined by Stephen Fox up in the booth as well, making it happen. Say hello, Stephen.
What's up, guys?
We're going to get right into it today, talking about some Mayweather, Pacquiao, the fight of this century, the fight to end all fights. Maybe it will end all fights in boxing. I don't know. A lot of hype for this, a lot of build-up. Some boxing purists maybe love it.
You know what? You couldn't be more right when you say hype. There was such this build-up, and everyone was so excited, and then it really just kind of fell flat. Yeah, we had what? I think that turned out there were 3 million people who bought pay-per-view. you know, people spent millions to be there between Tom Brady flying out from the Kentucky Derby. You had all of these millionaires, these high-profile people sitting there ringside for what? I guess I really don't know what went on exactly.
It started off weird. I mean, Mayweather always comes out big. Usually Bieber's with him. Bieber was there again. Lil Wayne's always there. But this time he had the Burger King mascot was there. Pacquiao had Jimmy Kimmel behind him looking like Run DMC.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up with that? And then I think what happened, the bad vibe started right away in the sense that I'm like, okay, I don't know if this fight's going to be serious. As soon as Pacquiao took a selfie with his trainer, I mean, these guys, look, Pacquiao's a nice guy. He's a lovable guy. He's a happy guy. I understand that. But it's like, you guys are warriors. Like, you're about to start trying to hurt somebody. It's like, I don't want you taking a selfie.
And also in the middle of the fight, seeing Mayweather smile at Pacquiao, almost like they're exchanging these kind of greetings, like, hey, you gonna like your millions? I'm gonna like my millions. It just felt like they were really in it for maybe just the money, the fun, but they weren't in it to truly go to battle.
Right. And then just even at the end, in the 11th round, well, right before the 12th round in between, they were hugging. It's like, I get, hey, UFC, that they hug after the fight. There's a lot of good camaraderie, a lot of good sportsmanship. That's great. But again, these guys are the 2 biggest fighters in the sport. They've had a lot of animosity going over the years, and now it's like, hey, we're just happy to make money. I mean, the next day after, you see Pacquiao and his wife going to church, taking photos. Like, hey, we're going to church this morning. We're all happy. Everything's just great. And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to see a little more grit, a little more grind. I don't know.
You know who I think was the most dominant fighter in that ring? Was Mayweather's father. He was the warrior. You heard him yelling at his son, letting him know, you need to get in there, you need to fight. And the thing is, everyone says, well, Mayweather's style is kind of just to move around to wear you out. And they did say that, I think Freddie Roach had given an interview to ESPN before, and he said that Pacquiao was going to go for the body a lot so he can drop the head, which is a very standard technique in boxing. And we did see Pacquiao try to do that a lot, make hits on Mayweather's body, but at the end of the day, it wasn't working. It felt like nothing was working in particular. And it was really just a blowout kind of bum fight. There was nothing. There wasn't even blood drawn.
Mayweather just took it. I mean, he would just do like this, just sit in the corner, just get up and just shake his head like that's it. You can't hurt me. I know UFC is not anywhere near what boxing, especially in terms of revenue, but I think UFC is just appealing to a different generation. It's quicker, it's more intense. The fights, the fighters don't have control of their contracts necessarily, so they can't. Be like, I'm not going to fight this guy. No, if Dana tells you who to fight, you fight. That's why I think this matchup should have been done a long time ago. I don't know. It's not the fight of the century.
No, it's not. It was the fight that paid them really well, and that was kind of it.
And no one will probably pay $100 for a fight again after this one. So we'll see. I don't know, but maybe they'll have a rematch. I hope not. We're going to move on to the NBA. Round 1 is now officially over after the weekend. Again, going back to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, I bought the fight at my place, had a little party, great time. But even though the preliminary fights were going on, I had the Clippers-Spurs game on.
Oh, the Clippers-Spurs is where it was at. Game 7, it was insatiable and exciting. And especially, they weren't more than, I think, maybe 5 points from each other the entire game. Everyone was bringing their best and just bringing the hustle. And, at the end, it was the Clippers who prevailed. But, my God, if it weren't Chris Paul's near buzzer beater, I don't know where we would stand.
111-109, Clippers going ahead. I mean, it's just been a great series. I mean, there was that one kind of blowout game, the Spurs, but I think it was game 3 or something. Spurs had a really big win. But other than that, it's been close the whole time. We've even had an overtime game. This has been a great series. Hard to see Chris Paul with the hamstring. As soon as he started pulling up on that hamstring, I was like, no. Came back in, though, finished. Probably going to be out game 1, but I think the Clippers are on the momentum. I think it's going to be a great series going up against Houston. I'm excited for that, but got to go more round 1 talk. Bucks, I thought they had some momentum going. I was kind of disappointed with the blowout. I thought they were at home, and the team get blown out like that. I kind of felt bad for them.
Yeah, you know what? And it was kind of embarrassing because the thing is, you saw the Bucks really come back and give Chicago a run for its money, and especially, you had this team that's essentially coming from nowhere, and they were going to be something for a minute there, but then that last game, I don't know if they were watching the draft or what, but what's a 54-point
third largest. That's bad.
Franchise record of losses in the playoffs?
That's bad.
That's some tough stuff.
It's a bad loss. But on a happier note, poor Bucks. Happier note, the Bulls are going on. I mean, we'll see. See how Rose, see how he holds up. He's been a little shaky sometimes. But happy news, Steph Curry. I think a lot of people love Steph Curry. He's a good, happy guy, good player, named MVP.
Yes.
Not really surprised, but it's good to see. It's such a good season.
Yes, he was exceptional. He was just, the thing is, he was the best player on what was the best team. And, it became a question of whether it'd be Harden or him, but it's a matter of, they're rewarding the record, but they're also rewarding the incredible player. He had what? I think it was set the record in three-pointers for the season with 286. He's extremely strong. He was sixth highest in points in the league last season, as well as in assists. And he is so likable.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Steph Curry?
Yeah. And Harden, I love Steph Curry. And Harden, he had 50-point games, but it's like that's because he had to, especially with Dwight Howard out. The thing is, Steph Curry's got a much more balanced team, like LeBron, who doesn't need to score 50 points. He can have 20 and 10, with assists and all that. So I think he's definitely the more balanced player. I like him, but we are gonna see them go. I'm sorry, no. Well, let's see. No, I'm sorry. Houston is playing the Clippers, so I was gonna say we're not gonna see them go head to head. But the Memphis series, they already won their first game. I think that's going to be a 4-0.
Yeah,
I
I definitely think they're going to roll that out, especially after last night's game. It kind of just shows you, the Warriors, they all felt like they needed to get their footing in the first round when they were going against the Pelicans, and Anthony Davis was really showing up.
Right.
But now I think they know what they're doing. They got it. They're moving on.
We can keep rolling with the NBA. Keep rolling. Next topic, we're going to go around and talk about round 2. We're going to look ahead. Of course, we're just talking about Golden State's first game against Memphis. Yeah, I like Memphis. They're always a tough team. I like Marc Gasol. Powell's brother, Zach Randolph's great player. They have a lot of scrappy players. They just never can quite get over the hump. They can get the first round of the playoffs, second round, but they just can never quite get that extra step. So, yeah, I think it's going to probably be a sweep. Maybe they'll win one back in Memphis, but maybe 4-1. But I just think their Golden State's too strong right now.
Yes. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, I think that tonight, though, Chicago.
Oh, tonight
Chicago,
is going to be
Cleveland.
Realness. Oh, we're really going to see where they're going to come. Cleveland, they've had nice 8-day break. They've been enjoying themselves, hanging out essentially. They had 5 practices. And then, they had these team meetings and dinners and lunches so they can mesh and mold, especially because they have large changes essentially with Kevin Love being out. And then also we have J.R. Smith out. And so they're really going to need to make sure that they harness their chi and they find it so they can bring it out there on the court. And the thing is, I really think that they're going to do pretty good. They're coming off rest. They're going to be solid.
I mean, no Kevin Love, but the Cavaliers have the advantage. 3-1 is the series. They won 3 games over in the regular season. I just think, LeBron and Kyrie can take him. I mean, as good as Chicago is, they don't have Kyrie and LeBron.
Yes.
So just without Kevin Love, that still, I don't think, evens the playing field, especially with a beat-up Rose, because Kyrie and LeBron are both healthy and they're both rested.
Exactly.
And again, I think it depends on what Rose shows up.
Yeah, and we saw in the first round, he came in those first 2 games, and Rose he just lit it up. It was strong, but then it started to fall off after that. So we don't know what we're going to get, but we can't wait to see.
It's going to be exciting. And then, of course, it feels like we just watched them. We saw the Clippers-Spurs play the other Game 7. Awesome game. We get to see the Clippers again tonight. Houston, you get to see James Harden going, Dwight Howard. Of course, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. This is another. I think it's going to be another great series.
Yes.
I don't know if this will be. I'll be curious to see I don't know if Houston's as good as the Spurs with their playoff experience, but they're still going to bring it because Dwight Howard's getting a little bit better every game, and Harden, of course, is still playing really strong.
Mm-hmm. And especially because Harden is runner-up for MVP, he might be playing with a little bit, something on his shoulder. So things could get pretty meaty out there between the 2 teams. Because I really think that he wanted it very bad. You saw him put up, those 2 40-point games. Then we had 50 back-to-back. It's just the man is so strong, and he's really intent on owning it. And I think he's going to take something good out there.
Good. NBA playoffs, round 2. Watch it. First game last night. Check out these 2 games tonight. They're going to be exciting. We're going to have a little extra time. We're going to roll on to the next topic, which is NFL draft. Big weekend in sports. So much to talk about. But the draft was one of those highlights. Of course, started on Thursday, but went through to the weekend to Saturday in Chicago. You were in Chicago.
I was
so
in
before
Chicago.
we go into, tell us about the atmosphere. I mean, you're at a Cubs game. Draft was going on. What was going on in Chicago? How was the atmosphere in Chicago?
I can tell you Chicago was alive. They loved having the draft. They were just such wonderful hosts. It was beautiful out there in Grant Park. And let me tell you, Bears fans, they were it and then again. They knew exactly that they wanted to own this, and it was just the hospitality. Everyone was great. People were there, and like I said, the Cubs game was fantastic, and you just get the sense it's very, very much a sports town, and they were ready to bring some goodness to it.
When they got their first pick and they got the wide receiver, people just seemed like they won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Chris Berman was like Chicago just won the Super Bowl. Like they were so pumped. I mean, first round went pretty much as planned. I don't think there weren't a lot of shockers. I was surprised by the lack of trades. There's all that Phillip Rivers trade. I mean, it could still happen, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I mean, I was surprised to see Mariota and Jameis 1 and 2. Jameis still trying. Still, I don't know. That shouldn't have done that photo with the crab legs.
Yes, I thought it was because it turned out that the crab legs were donated and
legally this time.
Yes,
legally.
Yes, legally. Yeah. And that's great. But at the same time, for him to take the photo, not to explain kind of what was going on in the background, and then there's a young woman behind him, kind of just looking out in the weird way. It's like he has way too many of these not so good cards on the table for him to be acting like this. And so it just makes me wonder: have you really got it together yet? I don't know. I almost feel bad for Tampa Bay because I don't know if they know what they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, he has all the talent.
Yes.
He has the talent. Mariota, of course, looks better. He's in Hawaii with his family. He's got this. It looks like he's in some type of hall or something that he rented out. And he just seems, he seems like the more likable guy. But I think Jameis has more upside. He has the potential to be the bigger star. Looking at, of course, they had other rounds, of course, Friday and Saturday. I mean, the big day is Thursday. The big day was round 1. They had some other rounds as well. I like to focus on the AFC East, because that's where my Buffalo Bills reside.
Uh-oh.
Buffalo Bills getting the lowest grade. Everybody giving them C's. CBS, Mel Kiper Jr., everybody giving them C's. Nobody like Buffalo's picks. We have Sammy Watkins. We've done a lot of good offseason things. We have LaShawn McCoy now from Philly. We have Percy Harvin, kind of a young, talented wide receiver. Of course, he gets injured a lot. Our draft picks, not so great, but I do like this tight end, Nick O'Leary, coming in later round. A lot of people were saying that CBS said that was a steal. So I'm happy about that. Are there any highlights in rounds 2 or 3 that you noticed from any of the teams?
No, there wasn't anything that really drew my attention significantly. I found that this draft was a lot less exciting than the last one.
Yeah.
And it might have been because we were standing underneath the umbrella of Mayweather Pacquiao and what it was supposed to be. And then we had Game 7. But really, I almost think it kind of started to fall off, once they picked up Amari Cooper, Leonard Williams. You kind of realized after we got out of maybe that top 15, it was just kind of almost lackluster.
Yeah, this was definitely the quarterback year, 1 and 2.
It was. But congrats to everybody who was drafted. And for those who are undrafted, there are great places for you.
Yeah, so, I mean, and this is such a great weekend. So we're going to talk a little bit about that weekend. Specifically, this is a topic, it's Major League Baseball. But, we're going to cover a few things here as well. Alex Rodriguez, 660 home runs, tying Willie Mays' record. Promised some money from the Yankees originally in his contract, $6 million if he did it. They're not going to pay it.
No,
they're not paying it.
No, I haven't seen his contract, but I can tell you generally in these circumstances, the whole biogenesis, you using PEDs, that was probably a breach of contract. And so the Yankees are like, well, you broke the spirit of this contract, so we're not necessarily going to uphold our end, or we don't have to, as far as the $6 million goes for all of his landmark achievements. And the thing is, it was very emotional for him. Congratulations to him. But in the same vein, I understand the Yankees' position, and I feel pretty confident that A-Rod's not going to fight it. He's been really working on building up his image.
You feel bad for A-Rod because before the interview, I think it was ESPN interviewing him, you could see him composing himself. He was, he was still like doing this. You could tell he's crying before. He's very emotional, and you feel bad for the guy because of all like the bad things you hear athletes doing, with violence and John Jones hit and run on a pregnant woman and beating their wives and all this like stuff you hear and allegations. A-Rod has done some bad things, but he's not like the worst guy in the world. So you don't want to. He's like, and he's kind of hated. And I do feel a little bit bad for him because he loves the game of baseball. He's passionate about the game. His father loved the game of baseball, and he wants it to mean something, but he has all this stuff on his back right now. And I think that's why he was crying. I think he's just kind of devastated because he has respect for Willie Mays.
Absolutely.
And he made mistakes.
And the thing is, a lot of the players haven't necessarily been the fairest in terms of they've done PEDs or they use things. And I do think there's a lot of animosity and hate toward Alex Rodriguez because he just got paid the most money. Yeah. So it's kind of, he's in that situation where he gets a lot of the money, but then also fighting for it. So it wasn't the best position. But, it's one of those things. And this weekend was very exciting for the Yankees playing the Boston Red Sox in that 3-game series. And it got pretty nasty out there on the mound, especially they were hitting each other with balls, some intentional, some unintentional. But, you know, the Yankees wanted the sweep, and they got to do what they got to do.
You got to win. I mean, hey, don't even get the Royals in that conversation. Royals be throwing balls at everybody.
Jeez.
Bad boys.
For real, like Ventura.
Yeah.
And there's some, you know,
They're
we
rough.
thought Kansas City, they were nice Midwestern boys, but all of a sudden, like, they gangsta.
I know, because
They
everybody
are
was all
straight
last year
gangsta.
during the World Series. They were like, oh, we love Kansas City, nice, you know, Midwestern town, doing well. You know, the small team going up against San Francisco. Now they're like, well, they're letting loose. Coach is like, just do whatever you got to do to win. I guess Brewers have fired their team manager.
They did after 4+ seasons. He was at record of 342, 331. You know, Ron Reinke, I believe it is. He's not. It's just it's not working for them. They're starting out with the lowest win of any team in Major League Baseball, and you know they were just tired of it. Although they did defeat the Cubs, and that's when he got fired.
Yeah, that's a reaction. Usually when teams start bad like that, they have to like find a solution. So firing the guy usually happens. This kind of said that it does. Hopefully, he finds some more work. Also, American Pharoah won. It was a good Kentucky Derby as well. Kentucky Derby was kind of exciting. I watched the race. I was like, that's a good race.
Yes.
I know nothing about horse racing, but I was like, that was a good race.
Yes.
It was an exciting 2.5 minutes.
And the royal family had a new baby.
Royal family had a new baby.
Yes.
Big weekend.
Charlotte, Elizabeth, Diana. There's another one out there.
It's a big weekend.
It was crazy
Anybody
weekend.
have money on the name? It's hashtag 3MW here at thestream.tv. Let us know what you were watching this weekend. So many great sporting events. Love to hear from you. As always, I'm David Griffin. You can find me on Twitter at GriffinDE.
And I'm AJ Lawrence. You can find me on Twitter at the AJ Lawrence.
And we'll be back here tomorrow with some more 3-Minute Warning.